Sorry guys. Please, can you see my screen now? Please, if you can see my screen, just type on the chat so that we start immediately. Can you see my screen? Okay. All right, so we are going to start first with the dollar index. We're going to start with the dollar index, and there's something I noticed on the 6 months time frame, and I want to share with you all. Okay. All right, so this is the this is the dollar index, and this is the 3 months time frame. Sorry, so we have the 3 months time frame here, and I think we have been looking at this for quite some time now. How price pushed this relative equal highs here into a one year order block at this point, and then from there we are getting a reversal. So now at this point, as we read these tops here, so price validated this to be another block, right? So and it has been resisting price from there, and we also spotted this fair value gap down here. So and at the moment we have had quite a bullish dollar for the past weeks, price leading back into this other block here. So this is where I expect some resistance from the dollar, all right, from this other block here. So let's say we expect the dollar to at least react from this 3 months order block here and then continue down to this fair value gap. So let's go back to the monthly time frame. So monthly time frame, we also have another order block there, which is also aligning with the 3 months order block. And as we have been studying in the community for this while, we noticed that we had a CRT as well, and then the high was taken out, right? So we can say, well, we can now start having lower prices, at least from this zone. Okay, it doesn't mean it should happen immediately, but from this area, if we get a confirmation for sales, then price can start selling at that area. So let's go down to the weekly time frame. Now, on the weekly time frame, we managed to close this week again heavily bullish. So looking at this closely, we still have a fair value gap right up here, which I believe price is going to be coming right up to it. All right, because even looking at seasonal tendency from now, from the ending of October to early November, we usually have a bullish dollar. So I still feel like price is going to maybe give us another rally back up to this fair value gap before we can get a confirmation to continue a sell from that point. And also those traders that are using trend lines, I believe this trend line also might be like a confluence, right, to that area for more lower prices. All right, so this entire area, it will be good that we have daily confirmations, because this is coming right from the monthly time frame. So if we're getting a daily sell confirmation here, it will be very important, right? But for now, we still have this fair value gap, which we can say price might push back up to before any sales, right? So weekly, we still expect higher prices, and if it is to sell, then we can start targeting this fair value gap right down here and so on. But even starting right from this one, all right? So we expect this coming week to open already previous weekly high before we get something like that. So let's go to the daily time frame and see how it looks like. So daily time frame, we opened Friday, closed bullish after Thursday had a pushback down to filling this fair value gap. And then Friday managed to close back bullish, reading the low of Thursday. So we could still say this, you can see from here, price already reacted from this mitigation block here. So we have this high into the weekly fair value gap. All right, if you're looking at this area, you also notice that we have a daily fair value gap inside the weekly fair value gap that we just spotted out right here. So this is quite a nice place, or a good area for price to come up to. Also, it is confluencing with the trend line that we just spotted. So this literally means that this high here can possibly be just an area of liquidity. Okay, it can possibly be just an inducement into this high, which is where we have the fair value gap. So we are still bullish on dollar index leading up into this area here. All right. And if we are to be bearish, I want to personally see price. Remember, I said we are into a monthly key level. So we need a daily shift in market structure. We need a daily change in state of delivery confirmation. So if we start breaking this mitigation block from here without breaking this high, all right. So if we maintain this high, and then price comes down to close below this mitigation, that will be a confirmation that we are getting we are starting back to go down, and then all these areas here will be trend line liquidity. Okay, but we've actually rallied a lot. It's likely possible to see price even come back down to this other block before we continue the push back to the upside, right? Maybe just like a pullback. But the way Friday closed, there's a possibility that we can get Monday expand up, retest, and then get from this point before we get a push back to the downside. All right, so this is quite possible. And like I shared with you guys on the free community group, the seasonal tendencies supported this move. All right, this move happens most of the time starting from October to early November. Okay, so let's go straight to, I believe this is clear, right? So let's even look at the 4-hour time frame. So you can see 4-hour time frame also pulled back down to this other block. And we had bullish confirmations from here. Now, this typically was a 4-hour CRT confirmation here for buys. You can see that price did not close below it, right? After we rated this low, price did not close below it, and this target was so clean. So at this point, we can say, all right, maybe price should feel we can feel this fair value gap. All right, and then we continue to the upside to clear our previous weekly high, which was created on Wednesday. So we can expect something like this, and then price should continue higher. Okay, maybe even leading up into the highs that we had above. So let's look at Euro USD now. And looking at Euro USD, so this was something on the 6 months time frame. Okay, this is 6 months time frame. Something I saw here too that was very interesting. Price came down to this other block. So we had a CRT into an other block, and then price went back closing bullish. So, and we have been trading within the range of the CRT candle for quite some time now. All right, and we have this fair value gap. So I believe so much price is coming into this fair value gap. But again, when you look at the monthly time frame, all right, price is kind of like really because we are actually tied up in a range. So that's why price action here is, it is not one-sided. So it's being moving up and down and so on. So we have a trend line liquidity here. I think it's even more clearer on the weekly time frame. So we have this trend line, and if price is actually to invalidate this trend line, then we might likely be coming back right down to maybe clearing this relative equal lows that we had here, maybe. All right. So I don't really want to see price start breaking this trend line or break any of these lows here. All right, these lows should be protected at all costs. And now if that's to happen, we have this fair value gap here. Now, also, we spotted something on the dollar index. Let's look at it here. Now, we had a daily fair value gap on the dollar index for a sell, and let's look at the daily fair value gap on euro as well. All right, so the daily fair value gap on euro falls within this volume gap here because price had already mitigated the fair value gap that we had here. So the only area here is this volume gap that price has not mitigated, and from the looks of things, euro has been dropping more than dollar, right? And as I also mentioned, seasonal tendency supported this as well. So euro has already been dropping, and this is already an SMT. This is already an SMT because you can see the high that we considered here to be an inducement, Euro USD has already taken out that low right here. So this low, this low, it is the same as this one, but you can notice that dollar has not taken that and euro has already grabbed liquidity on that low. So if this is not if this does not confirm as an SMT before price will reach at this point, euro USD might have already invalidated this area. All right, unless price comes here and then starts consolidating while dollar pushes higher. All right, so when you are watching the two of them like this, it helps you to know when to expect a serious move from the other one and when to expect a serious move from the other one. Like, for example, as I'm saying, if dollar is to push up here, and then this key level will likely be invalidated because dollar is going to cause it to drop more or faster. All right, it's just the same like we were still approaching this other block here. All right, we're still approaching this other block, and the dollar euro was already within that other block. All right, this alone made us understand that this other block will likely not hold on euro. Maybe it can give a reaction on the dollar, but euro USD was already too much down. All right, so when you're judging the tool like that, it helps you to balance it up so that you don't enter on euro too early while dollar still has a long way to go, and if the SMT as well was not confirmed. All right, so let's look at GBP USD. It is the same thing, so we'd expect more lower prices. You can even see that we had a confirmation. I mean, we had price reacting from this bearish order block on euro USD, and we happen to close back within this candle, right? Within the Thursday's candle. So having this volume gap here, I think we can still be having a push back to the downside. And if that doesn't happen and price goes back to close above this high, which is also invalidating this other block, then we can consider that this is an SMT and the SMT now has been confirmed. All right. If we have price react from this other block, goes higher, close above that area, and then we have our bullish SMT to continue higher. But if this is respected, then price should continue going down. Okay. So let's look at GBP USD. Now, looking at GBP USD as well, price has actually been trying to move higher, but we spotted this area on this other block, which was also within a weekly key level, right? Weekly fair value gap. We have this weekly fair value gap here. Now, why I was not just expecting buys from here immediately is because of the dollar index, which is still trying to push higher. So which means there's a likelihood for price to drop a little more, right, into this area. So now looking at this closely, we took out this candles high, all right? We took out this candles high, came back to close within it. So if we're expecting lower prices, definitely this becomes a CRT, right? It becomes a CRT. And then these two candles are two bearish mitigation candles, right? So that's a key level, and price can continue lower from this week, maybe now into retesting this other block. Okay, so we'll likely be seeing something like this on the GBP USD. But if price close above this high, then that's going to be our invalidation. Okay, that's our invalidation high. Price close from that will going to be continuing. We'll continue the push to the upside, and we'll start targeting these fair value gaps up here. All right. But as for now, let's even look at the monthly time frame. It is just the same thing. We can also see price having this trend line liquidity here. Weekly time frame is just the same thing. We are constantly pushing to the upside. And this sell that we're having from here, I think we spotted this way back, how price was supposed to react from this volume gap here. All right. And we had a nice reaction from that point, and then which is giving us this pullback. Okay, so that's for GBP USD. We can expect some more sales before if we get down to this point, then at this level, we can start to see higher prices because we've built a lot of trend line liquidity from the upside. All right. We've built a lot of trend line liquidity here, a lot. There's a lot of trend line liquidity. For us to start clearing that, then it will be massive. So you can get maybe one last push to the downside before price starts to push higher. Okay, let's look at CAD JPY. Please, if you have a pair you want us to look, you can just type it on the chart. So CAD JPY daily time frame, monthly, weekly, we are this fair value gap. On the weekly, we have been looking up to it. So we had a nice internal range to external range liquidity here after price touched this week's low. Okay. And then we pushing to the upside. So we have this fair value gap in mind, and weekly time frame, we managed to close above that high. So we have this fair value gap here, which can support price from this point for more higher prices. So external to internal to external. From here, can expect more higher prices. At least if price comes down to this fair value gap and then it continue higher, that would be good, right? So that's what I'm expecting on CAD JPY. Maybe now into the weekly fair value gap. That should be the same thing with GBP GPY. We still have the weekly fair value gap as well on GBP GPY, which is this one. We actually a little bit close to it. So it is the same thing that we are expecting. More higher prices. More higher prices for GBP GPY. So maybe if we take out Friday's low into this fair value gap to create the low of this week, that will be great. And from there, we'll get good discount buys to push to the upside. All right. We have looked at GBP GPY. So let's see. We said USD GPY. Where's my USD GPY? All right, let's look at USD JPY. USD JPY. Let's look at this. All right, so USD JPY price keeps pushing. Now, remember this is buying because JPY index is selling. Okay, that's the reason why we're having this push to the downside. We are having this push to the downside. So this means JPY is actually weak. All right. Japanese yen is actually weak, and we are likely coming down to this fair value gap. So because of its weakness, that's why almost every currency that has to do with Japanese yen is pushing higher. All right, so USD GPY2 is pushing higher. Let's see weekly time frame. We can also see this one is like a hidden fair value gap, which is also drawing prices higher. So it's the same with GBP GPY. Now you can also see that we closed above this fair value gap here. So that's a sign for more higher prices. And weekly time frame, if we have a little push back down to this point, then we can have price expand up to that weekly fair value gap. Shimo FX, bonsoir. Okay, somebody say US soil. Let's see US soil. Have that guy here. Guys, trades pays, you know. All right, so US soil weekly time frame. Just looking at price, right? You can see that we have a lot of sell side liquidity here, right? A lot of sell side liquidity. And there's high probability that we can likely clear it, right? This sell side liquidity, buy side liquidity, But at this point, we have right from here so many relative equal lows right down to this point. So this is my draw on liquidity. Okay. That's our draw on liquidity. And that's if that's it, then we're looking at the weekly time frame. We can see that we had a very nice CRT movement here. Okay. We pushed that high into this key level and the price is pushing lower. So just as of now, this is the next area where we have money sitting on, right? That's the next target. So if that's the case, then we'll go to the daily time frame. Daily time frame, we have this fair value gap and this other block. So from here, can say we expect lower prices from here. Okay. So that's for US soil. You can get a little pushback up to around 73, 73, 74. Also, we can still start selling from here, okay? You just have to watch out. They already took the high of this candle into that key level. So there's a possibility that can even start selling at the moment. But looking at the weekly time frame, how price closed, it's a likelihood that we're going to be taking previous candles high, then back down to this area. But overall, whatever is happening, we have this area as our draw on liquidity. Okay. Futures such as oil are highly determined by fundamentals than technicals. You're correct, but one thing you need to understand is that when fundamentals are setting up, the charts are telling you the story. Okay. If you not to say that you should ignore fundamentals, but the charts are telling you the story that is about to happen. Okay. The charts are telling you the story. Fundamentals, they don't just happen uh like out of the blues, especially when it comes to futures. So when something is setting up, the charts as well, they are setting up towards that. All right. It is still possible, though you can still have a wrong analysis. It's normal, but if you have your analysis correct, fundamentals will follow that. All right. I don't know if you guys understand what I'm saying. What I'm simply saying, let's say for example, we're going to be having because this week we have NFP, right? Now, if NFP is supposed to be bullish, there's a likelihood that the market will set us up into something, right? Will set us up into something, and then once NFP comes in, then we have something like that. I don't know if you understand. So being able to read the charts, not neglecting fundamentals, you would likely have an idea of what is going to happen. Do you understand? Yes. But it's fundamentals too, they are very important. But the story behind fundamentals, the charts are simply telling you the story, but it's good to always watch out for them. So this week we have NFP, and which is going to be on Friday. So we're going to have a very busy week towards Friday, right? I believe I've I've analyzed all the pairs that we have not analyzed gold. This gold. All right, so we have gold still pushing higher. And I feel like we are likely going to see gold go right up to 2,800, maybe even 3,000. It is very possible that we can see gold push right up to 3,000, right? One thing about these things is that they are not like currency pairs that they cannot train for a long time. Okay, we have the nearest whole number is about 2,800. So 2,800 can be an area for maybe a pullback, or 2,900. All right. So if this is not like a currency, so that's why I said you cannot hold its movement, right? Can keep trending, 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 trending. And you can also see that before this trending started, we have been accumulating for a very long time, right? We have been accumulating, price comes up, not going through, and then we have a serious breakout. So this guy can continue going up until, before you start selling, you need a proper reversal, right? That's why this alone, though it's a bearish engulfing candle, it's not just a sign for a reversal, right? It's not just a sign for a reversal. Okay. And the way Friday closed, we still have to see price come up to take this high. Okay. So internal range liquidity to external range liquidity. We have price filled internal range liquidity, and we have it now coming back for external range liquidity. So we stay bullish on gold till otherwise, right? Now we have another block here. Well, since we are bullish and the price has not given us any valid reason to start selling, even on the 4-hour time frame. All right, because if we could have had, let's say, at a clear close below this low, that would probably mean a break of structure, right? But there is nothing like that. So it is just rejecting lows to create more higher highs. So we might just have maybe a reaction from here, and then maybe we continue higher. Okay. So just have it in mind that before gold sells, we're going to see a serious spike, something that will spike and clear a lot of people out, right? Before we can start seeing serious sales coming in. Okay. Remember, when the market is trending like this, even the algorithm knows that people are funding accounts to catch the top, and it's a very bad habit to try to catch the top of a market. All right. Catching tops and bottoms, those are not good habits to trade, because if you're trying to catch a top here, maybe you keep, like, maybe a lot of people have been blowing accounts from this point. You're expecting a sell, it keeps going higher. Expect a sell, it keeps going higher. So you don't have anything again on your account. So be patient. If you are selling a pullback, know that you are selling a pullback. Don't sell a pullback and then you wait and price comes back and collects what you had already, right? But if you want to sell and hold, let it be that you have had a proper confirmation that, okay, this is the end of it and price should be going down. So at this point right now, if we have price, if price reacts from this other block and then it closes back below this, then we are having a we are having a correction, and that correction will likely be coming right down to fill this inefficiency that we have here. Let's even clear on the week, on the daily time frame, right? Maybe retesting these highs with this fair value gap here. That will be at least our next target for our, okay. So let's see. I think people also saw this to be a head and shoulder, right? But there was no clear break of structure here. So there was no valid head and shoulder that printed at that point. So Bitcoin. Okay, let's see Bitcoin. Bitcoin. Coming from the weekly time frame. Okay, so I think I sent this to the community that we are sitting on a we are sitting at the key level, okay, where we have a whole trend line liquidity. Okay, we have all this trend line liquidity here. And you can see how this previous weekly candle closed. Heavily bullish, right? And then this one tried to come down. So we have a small fair value gap here. Though let's see daily time frame quickly. All right, so daily time frame is trying to trade within this area. There's a possibility that we might have a pushback, maybe down back to this area. Okay, it's just a possibility. But if price goes back to close above this point, then we are going straight up to the all-time high on Bitcoin. If price closes above this high, then we are going to be coming for this high, because that will be price will have started clearing trend line liquidity, and that will happen right up to that point. So I believe that's all that we had for today. Thank you guys so much for the patience. Thank you for participating on this weekly analysis. I wish you all the best, and always remember to trade with risk management. It is very important. It will keep you long in the game so that your chances or your edge can play in your favor, right? So thank you so much, and you all have a blessed night and a wonderful week.